before, especially against Zergs, and I back him 100% here once again.
I think MarineKing has more experience in recent matches. He's got some momentum on his back from coming back to Pro League and actually doing quite well after his League of Legends hiatus vacation experience.
Basically a vacation.
That's a good way to put it, I guess.
Took a trip to Summoner's Rift, and he decided that his real home was Antigua Shipyard and had to come back. Hyvaa has only played one match this season. He lost it, and it was in this matchup. He's 5 losses in a row, but most of those, of course, from his STX days back a long time ago last season. And you could tell his Brood War stats. He's almost actually in the 100 win club. He's only 9 wins off of it, so he's pretty impressive in StarCraft 1.
A lot of experience, for sure. And we've seen it. I mean, I remember him fondly, and I think it was GSL where I watched most of his games. And he does play more of an aggressive game, but it's very fun to watch, and I think he's very good.
Well, MarineKing slightly favored here. Let's find out in Hyvaa's very second Pro League game if he could put his team into a 2-0 lead.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Up here in the top left, in the purple for Prime, it is MarineKing.
And to the bottom left, in the teal for MVP, or Chipmunk players, it's Hyvaa.
Why'd you say that like Chipmunk?
Chipmunk, sorry. Not Chipmunk. I don't know.
This map, Frost, pretty good map for Zerg. Not terrible for Terran either. I mean, third bases are pretty covered. Pretty good to harass. The base that has the cliff especially, great for drops. And pretty easy for Terran to hold too. So I find this to be a pretty neutral map between the races.
I think MarineKing might go for that Chimera style where he's got half bio, half mech, where he's got
really?
an ungodly amount of siege tanks and Thors, but also a bunch of Marines.
That would be interesting. I remember seeing that from Reality on Outboxer a while ago.
Yes.
That was the first time I saw it, and I actually was really impressed with it.
Well, if you think back to MarineKing Season 3, Open Season GSL versus Fruit Dealer, if you can remember that far back, that's a match that I remember quite vividly. This was one of our newer, bigger maps, and MarineKing just tried that style, and he played it a few seasons of Codas later as well, where he was just really trying to stick with that, okay, I'm going to make a ton of Thors and siege tanks, but mostly only Marines. It's a style that he's used quite well in the past. I think we've even seen Nada use it. But I'm talking old Wings of Liberty right now, StarCraft 2's beginnings.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
Back in the day.
Before I came to Korea.
Wow.
I was living in the United States of America. It was a little bit different.
Well, standard MarineKing style, CC first on the low ground.
Yep.
And Hyvaa scouts us, so he started a pool, but he could have maybe gone double hatch before pool.
Yeah, and also he shows the Overlord, which is something that the Korean casters were very disappointed about. He saw the CC and he knew the location. He got lucky with the first Overlord scout. But he didn't pull it back in time. He showed it to MarineKing.
I think he wants to see if it's a double barracks follow-up or not, though.
Sees double barracks, and I mean, it's okay. Position isn't too important at this point. I mean, there's always going to be an SCV scout, and it's always going to scout eventually, before anything is really out for MarineKing. So I don't think it's a bad move at all. He sees the gas timing, sees kind of the timing on everything, so he knows exactly where he's at, and he is delaying his gas a lot, just focusing on drones, focusing on minerals, and it's a perfect move because there's not going to be a Reaper harass, there's not going to be Hellions anytime soon.
I think what Hyvaa wants to know is, does he do a timing attack because MarineKing adds a greedy third, or is MarineKing just going to play safe and standard? Seeing that second gas, probably going to lead him to believe the third CC is a ways away. But sometimes we see MarineKing and other players like Bomber just take a really greedy third CC here. Yeah. And players like Hyvaa who are so aggressive, these known cheesers like Hyvaa and Shine are very, they're very flexible to go and do a roach push.
Yeah, they're very willing to just turn on the light. They're like, oh, okay, you did this, now I'm going to go all in on you.
Yeah,
and,
completely. Definitely able to switch it on at any time. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what Hyvaa's plan is for this game. But obviously starting off very macro, very greedy, which he can and should be, considering the build order from MarineKing.
Yeah. So, that'll be a little bit of time before we find out exactly what these two are up to. But with the double barracks here from MarineKing, he's going to have a lot of early production of Marines, and he's also going to be able to rush out Stim here. You can see a Marauder is on the way. Now, the big question for me is, do we see an Armory get dropped here pretty soon for that faster transformation servos, whatever you want to call it, for that transformation on the Hellions?
Yeah, very possible. I could definitely see MarineKing adopting that kind of style. But for now, it's just going to be... We're going to see some Marauders come out as well as Hellions. Marauders, obviously good against any sort of roach timing, which is probably one of the biggest fears against Hiva.
Yeah.
And I mean, in general, we are seeing a lot more roach timings because of how popular Hellbats have become and Hellbat timings. So
yeah, I actually think this is a great way to play the matchup, especially against Hiva. Just do a build that might counteract what he's going to do. It's a solid build anyways, but it just directly counters Hiva's normal style.
Yeah.
So, still no Armory, but is well underway with Hellion production and Marauders, and now he could start a few more Marines now that the reactor's done. He's supply blocked for a second, but he's going to start those Marines, and there's that Armory. Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see like a Marine Marauder stim timing with Hellbats.
And that's going to be so strong. The one thing Hiva has going for him is he delayed the third base for a bit. It's not too late, but he's been able to, you know, not be too greedy on the economic side of things, you know, too early. So he's going to have the economy to back up whatever he decides to go for in defense.
Yeah, but I mean, we still don't see a Roach Warren, which is one of the most important things when dealing with this kind of timing. So I'm kind of getting a little bit scared for Hiva here.
He's bringing some SCVs. Might want to bunker up, actually.
Yeah, this could be a lot of trouble. He is not in any position for it. He is being so greedy right now.
No Roach Warren, man. This is so
It's only going to be
bad.
Zerglings. It's only going to be Speedlings against this.
Oh my god. Good micro here by MarineKing on that weakened Hellion. Pulls it back to the back of the army. So I'm going to be able to do its damage but avoid death. Stim is nearly complete. And Hellbat mode engaged. Here we go. Dustin
Stim
Browder would
about
be proud.
to complete right now.
Yeah.
Adding another barracks behind this as well, and still only Zerglings.
Yeah, I don't know what Hiva can do at this point. I mean, this army is kind of unkillable with Zerglings for sure. Baneling Nest only just started, and that's one of the other counters you can use, but it's just, he's losing his third base.
This
and
third
base
base
is
is
forfeit.
definitely
It's
dead.
over.
That's like a goner. His one-on upgrades aren't going to be too useful against these Hellbats either. He's like, the Zerglings are like, hey, pay attention to me, and he's like, no, I'm not really interested. Sorry.
Yeah.
Even trying to catch reinforcements of these isn't going to be very effective with Hellbats in the mix.
No, even Hellbats are just going to deal with that. Oh, man, this is just no Roach Warren, no Baneling Nest. This is like one of the two things you need at this point. And this point of the game, in this meta, you have to get it, or you're just going to die to Hellbats.
Yeah, this seems to be like just a lack of,
I mean,
I don't know, a lack of respect for the current meta. Like,
also, how do you play this way against MarineKing, a guy who's known for his aggression, especially, you know, with
he
Marines?
loves his bio timings.
Banelings are not going to finish here. I think the only thing that will finish is actually Hiva. I think he's finished.
Yeah.
His 1-1 doesn't finish either, notably here. And now all he has to do is move his Marauders in the front to take the Banelings, which he does. Doesn't even stim here because he doesn't have to. Doesn't want to waste any of his hit points. And even if he cleans up most of this, the damage has already been done. And I don't even think he can quite clean it up.
No.
Maybe.
Well, every drone is going to die. So from here, it's just a formality from here. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a GG any second.
Yeah,
He's got
he's
no-
already like
no
leaning
third
forward
hatch.
in his booth. He's like, I don't know. This is definitely a really hard situation for Hiva to deal with. He's so far behind. He doesn't have a third base. Creep is done, and there's a GG.
Yeah. GG.
Wow. MarineKing taking that win.
Very cruisy win there, I feel. Just an easy timing with Hellbats and just Hiva playing so greedy. Like, the next level of greed that was. No respect for Hellions, no respect for Hellbats, and yeah, skipping out on Banelings as well as Roach.
Well, that was
That about sums it up.
pretty nasty there. Hiva just not prepared.
Yep. Two Zergs in a row play extremely greedy, and they get punished for it.
Yeah. Just, it's like suicide greed almost. Like, it's all in greed. It's like greed cheese here.
Yeah.
Like, that's how greedy they're being.
The worst type of cheese.
It's like
greed cheese.
It's like greed cheese. It's like, well, I'm just gonna make drones, and if you don't attack, I'll win eventually. But he attacked.
Yeah. That was a bit of a disappointing performance of Hybo, who now puts his record at 0-2. Yeah, it's disappointing to me because I would have loved to see a longer game between these two. They both have so much history. Hybo more so having a history in StarCraft 1, a little bit of history in StarCraft 2, and MarineKing having just such a long-standing StarCraft 2 history himself. And I feel like if Hybo plays a normal game, if he's on point, like these two could have a close, exciting match, but did not go that way. MarineKing getting what almost honestly feels like a free win in that match.
Yeah, well, everything went according to plan for sure, and Hybo just didn't have the tools that he needed ready, which is pretty much Zerg in a nutshell. You got to have it already.
Yeah.
You gotta have the tools, you gotta have the knowledge, the scouting, and you gotta have everything in place for when it happens, or you're just gonna lose the game.
Well, guys, the next matchup is going to be Creator versus Dongrigu. I think this is the match I was most excited for.
Yeah,
this is a really good one.
I'm actually more excited for this match now than the last one.
Well, yeah, well, now that the last one's over, we can see that in hindsight
I'm really
bias.
disappointed with the last one, so I'm changing